guys, let me know if you can hear me. We are live. Let me know if I'm audible enough. Please drop in the chat box if you can hear me. Let me know so that we can start in earnest. Inform your family, inform your friends, inform your loved ones whom you know that should be here in this training. For this training, inform them that we are live. And then if you can hear me, let me know. Drop in the chat box, let me know if you can hear me and if you can't see my screen. I'm still waiting. If you can hear me, let me know. If I'm audible enough, let me know that I'm audible enough. All right. Thank you. All right. We will quickly begin. We don't have much time to waste. Okay, this is Microsoft Access. We are in the day 3, and day 3 is about queries. However, yesterday we were able to create two tables, the payroll table, the staff profile table, and we will do some entry. We will have to enter data into these tables so as to proceed. Okay, we double click here to open the datasheet view. And then we begin by entry. Staff ID we use as auto number. Okay, first name, let's say we have first name to be this, and I'm just typing any name that came to my mind. We can say 10 okay, then phone number, we can say 080, any number of we have there, any number. Then email, we can say asd@gmail.com. This for entry. Then state of origin, let's say your state, and marital status. Now under the marital status, you press S, you see single comes out, you hit enter. Academic qualification, let's say the person is HND BSc, so you type H and then put enter. Then date of birth, for the time, due to time, we are going to select any date here, but we see that we have to drag down. So let's say we select any date here. Position, let's say the person is a HR intern, and the picture, the passport, we double click here, go to add. We are going to just put any passport because of the time we have. Go to desktop. We are going to put any picture. So let's say this picture, that's not a person passport, but We are going to do that because of time. So once we do that, okay, is supposed to, maybe that's okay, that's a shortcut. It's not really a picture. This one is shortcut. Okay, this an image. We select this and then we say okay, that changes to 1. Is the person disabled? No. Let's say the company name, whatever the company website is next of kin. Let's say next of kin at let's say Vincent. Okay, then basic salary, let's say the person is earning 100,000. Then gender, let's say male, and that's finished. We move to the next. So this is how we enter data into Microsoft Access. You enter them one after the other. That's why in data analysis, data entry is one of the tedious work. It's not that it's something difficult. It's not that it's something technical. It doesn't require any coding. It doesn't require any programming. Every other thing has been done. It's just to impute data. It's just to enter data into the spreadsheet, into the database, and that's so most times it's tedious, not difficult, not technical, because of the thing we have to do it one after the other. That's why data entry is a bit technical, a bit tedious, and those that are fast in typing. Okay, now we will proceed. Let me just put something here. I will just be typing anything that comes to my mind, so just bear with me. Anything that comes to play, I will just put there, so that we can maximize what we have today. We can maximize our time. And let's say Lagos, and then let's say this person is married. Then let's say this person is MSc. Let's say this person is 17, 9, 88, and let's say he's a manager. If you have the position, if you know the positions in the company, you can use your lookup wizard to enter those positions first. Why I didn't do that? Because the time was fast spent yesterday, and at the same time start to be thinking of names will be tedious and stuff like that. So for this, let's say we don't have the passport yet, he's not disabled, the company website next of kin is Ade Evis, and we move to the salary. Let's say he's earning 350. Then male. So we have entered that, and we move to the next one, and can say Shola. Just don't mind me, I'm just typing names. Yes. Okay, then we have 33 uh, what do we put here? Let's say, let me put Ife and then 080. Okay, the email we put here hi and then at gmail.com. After this, you already understood how these entries are done. So one of the things I want to show us is this. If peradventure, after you have finished designing your table, that you remember that you did not add in, there are tables, there are fields you didn't remember to add. You didn't remember to add the fields, some fields, then you can put it here. You can come here and say add. You click add. Now under add, it will ask you, it will bring out those data type in the table view, in the table design view. It will bring it up, and if you know the type of field you want to add, then you should know the kind of data type that it will have. For example, if we want to put the employee status, if we want to put employee status, for example, we will know is we see there is test. So we select test, we can now put there, we can now type status. We can now type status, and then off we go to that aspect. So here now you can put either active or employee status, active, inactive, maybe full-time, part-time, and the likes. So you put that can be there. That's how you can add a field. Peradventure you forgot to add the field. That's one of the things you can do. Also, you can come here. These are certain functions you can do. You can hide fields. You can check the field width. You can insert field as well. You can rename field. You can delete fields. So these are certain things you have option for as regards to that particular field. All right. Now with that we haven't entered those stuff, we can come here and say close. We can come here and close that. We have entered an employee profile. If we open it, they are still there, so we can close this and then come to staff profile, staff payroll. Now in the staff, if I open staff payroll, you see first name, last name is there. Staff payroll, first name, last name. You also see what do we have there? You also see the email. You also see the basic salary. Now instead of peradventure, you have already the details, those details in this staff profile. Instead of coming to also be typing it here again, to type it here again, what you just need to do is in the staff payroll, you right click, go to design view, you see what you have here. This is account number, which is number is not auto number. So what you just have to do is, let's like right click and come to the data sheet view. Now here because this one is not auto number in the pay staff profile, because we have auto number, that means it automatically generates number for us. That's what the auto number does. It automatically generates what do we call it, number for us. But because this one is number, they want to impute it. So we can say the account number is stuff like this. Then okay, now Okay, I understand what he's saying. I entered more than the field size because number, if you count this, let me explain that now. If you count what I entered here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you count it is 12, but when we the data type number we selected works in the uses natural number format. I want us to understand this. What do we mean by natural number? Natural number is from 0 to 9. They are what we refer to as natural numbers, and if you count them, they are 10. So what do I need to do here is either I reduce it to 10 or I change the data type. But here I will reduce it to 10. So once I reduce this one, it becomes 10. I can now move to the next one. But once it exceeds 10, it will tell me no, it is a wrong format. That's why database follows protocol. Database follows a structure and system. It will tell me that it's a wrong format. I entered the wrong stuff. I should correct it. So that you need to understand that when you use number as your data type, it is within a range of 10 digits. Let me put it that way. It's within a range of 10 digits because it uses the attribute of a natural number. A natural number is from 0 to 9. And why we call it natural number is that those numbers 0 to 9, other numbers in this world are byproducts of these numbers, are combinations of these numbers. From 0 to 9, we refer to them as natural numbers. So it's 10 digits. It's 10 digits. And that's on that. So on this one, I can put something within 10 and then put something, the number within this. Now you see that this one is more than 10. This one is more than 10. So I will remove one. Then move to the next one. And what I entered in the other one, I think, is 3 values. So why I need to put this is because it will be easy. If I have these details down, I can easily copy from here and paste here. So now watch me do that. I will come here and click on the first name. I will click on the first name. That will highlight. It will highlight all the details we have in that field. Then I right click, come here and say copy. Then come to payroll. I will come to payroll under first name here. Under first name here, I will right click and paste. Is saying that you are about to paste 3 records. I say yes. That's what I want to do. Then the same thing, I will come here under profile. Now if I can now come here, click, hold control. Because of time, I will go to no. It's supposed to. Okay, let me copy it one after the other. Then we go to this place and then I will paste. I'm about to, yes, 3 record, so that I don't redo what I did before. I will copy this. I will come to this place and then come here and paste. Then another thing I can also do is the profile. I think in the profile I have a position which I did not enter here. This person, let's say, is IT, is our IT specialist, is our IT1, not industrial training as infotech, information tech. Let's say the person is our IT1. So here now I will copy this, come to payroll under position, and then I will paste. That's right. So here this person is earning 100. This person is earning 100. So I will put that 100. Am I getting it? Okay, yeah. Then this person is earning 350. This person is earning 450. That's my choice anyway. So when you do that, you see that from what we did yesterday, you see that other things calculate itself. So here is where you enter the account details. So we are able to enter data into these two tables, and this is how we go about in data entry to enter data into Microsoft Access. Now, on your own, you can go ahead to enter as many data as possible so as to master easy for us during the time for relationship. During the time for relationship, I know we're supposed to do some query. We're supposed to do some query and run some query this night, which by God's grace we are going to be able to achieve. We are going to be able to achieve this night design. Then now we have staff payroll, we have a staff profile. Then we are going to have the customers table. Let's say we have the customers table. So here we have customer ID, or let's say a student's table is still customer. Let's use customer. That's generic. So we say customer table, customer ID. Now under the customer ID, for the customer ID, I will want to select. I will want to leave it in short text. Then the first name, customer first name, short text. Now in this short text, remember what I said yesterday, I will have to come here to make it, reduce it so that it will not be too much for our database. I will just make it 10 for that. Then in the short name, I will make it 35. 35 is okay by me. Other things I can leave them. Then here I will say last name under this still short text. Then we can come here, make it 35. Then the customer phone number. Then the customer phone number will be test for me, because why I'm using short text, because if I use number based on if you say 080 this, it will only it will only be 10, unless you want to do 80 this without 080. And I said also yesterday, if you want to add the country code, maybe your customers are not only from your country, then you need to add their country code. Then you will need to use that short text, because other characters can be added, can be involved. So the phone number, customer phone number. Then we have email. Then we have what else can we talk about the customer? We talk about location. Then we look at the channel. The customer, is he an online customer or an offline? So as to be able to segment our customers and know the kind of the which channel is giving us the best of customers in terms of profitability. So the channel, the customer channel, location, short code, short test. Then so in this short test, that reminds me, in the short test we will be going through the lookup so as to make it easy for us not to type it. So we come to combo, and after that we come to value list. Then beside it we can now put online, comma, then offline. So is okay. Then that will be for the channel. Then what else? Any other thing? Okay. Then let's say this is what we have concerning our customers' details. Let's say this is what we need concerning our customers' details, the phone number, the email, the location, last name, first name, and let's say this is what we have concerning our customer details. One of the things when we do us to build portfolio, one of the portfolio we will see if time will permit us to build is the invoice management portfolio, as per says invoice management portfolio when we get to that aspect. So in this, once we are done, we come here to close, and it will ask us to save. We say yes. What's the name of this table? Remember our normal convention TBL. I put underscore. I call it customers. Okay, yes, I did not remember to assign primary key. So we need to assign our primary key to customer ID, which will be our primary key, so as to know that no customer, there shouldn't be any customer that have the same ID. There shouldn't be any customer that will have the same customer ID. So that becomes the unique identifier for our customer. So we have that, and then we say okay. That becomes the third table we will be working with as regards to this aspect. So yesterday in our course outline, we talked about what we have, what we call importing, exporting, and how to import, how to export. Okay, today I will quickly, to import data, you go to the external data. You go to the tab called external to import. So today I will be mostly focusing on bringing data from Microsoft Excel, because my access is not connected to my SQL server. So in that aspect, I will be bringing from Microsoft Excel. So to import data, you go to under external data, you have this import, you have this export. Now we are working on to import. So you go to your new data source. Under the new data source, you go from file, then you select Excel file. You select your Excel file. So from here, it depends on what you want to do. Now pay attention here. If you just want to import the file directly from Excel without any linking, then you can go ahead to use this particular option, which says import source data into new table in the current database. That's what you are going to use. If you want to append the copy of the records in the table this, you select this. That means if what you are bringing in is part of the things you need as regards to the table here. Any of these table, then you are good to go. You can do that. So let's select our file. From you go to browse in order to locate the file you want to import. In order to locate the file you want to import, then you come to I think I have some Excel file here. So here you have some Excel file. Okay, let's say this, and then open. Now that you can now see it here, desktop. You see Sample Superstore, then the extension of Excel. Then once that is done, you can import from like this. Okay, let's go ahead to do that so that you see the difference between when you import directly and when you import as a link. So here now we go and say okay. Now this dialog box will appear. Once the dialog box appear, you see your details, you see the row ID, you see another stuff here. Then if you want to bring this, you see show named ranges, only that. But this one is what we will leave it for. Then you move to next. You go to next. It will now ask you, it will say your first row contain column headers. Yes, that's what we want. That's row ID, order ID, and the likes. Then we move to next. Then is now showing you the fields and the data types. Here you can decide to change the data types, but we advise you leave it like that. From what you see it here is automatically dictated by Access. So that way, if you come to this, if you click on other stuff, it will also show you what it is, short text, the field name and the data type. If you come here, it will also show you. Now if you don't want to import this particular field into this database, you select this, do not import field. That means you need to skip this particular field. But we want to import all the fields. We want to import all the fields. So there is no need for us to check it. But if you don't want, you click on this, that's to check it. But we want to bring in all the fields. So we move to next. Now here you choose your primary key. This is saying here, let's access add primary key. Now if you want access to add primary key, then Access will just add a certain number. But let's assume, you see what he did here, he now put I. Okay, because to me that will be a primary key, because it will definitely be unique. So we move to next. Now here is where you say import Sample Superstore into that. Then he said I will love the wizard. No, don't do any analysis, it will scatter that stuff. Then we say finish. Now you can see the table here. That's the Sample Superstore. So you see the table we just brought in. That's the Sample Superstore. Now let's look at how when we bring in another table, let's see how it will look like when we link it from the source. Now we are going to bring in another table. So let's go to desktop, and then select okay, let's say we select this. and then we say okay. And now, instead of we selecting this option, we select this. Instead of we selecting that option, we select this. And what is this? It says link the data source by creating a linked table. In other words, whatsoever changes that happens from the source will be affected in this new table, in this table we are importing it to. So we say okay. Now that we have this, there are, under this particular table we are bringing in, there are different worksheets. This is a table that has it. Now, what you know, and when we get to Excel, you will understand. If you don't really understand what we mean by worksheet, you understand what we mean by worksheet. Now, you see here, this is another sheet. This is another sheet that has a certain stuff. This is another sheet that has certain this and this. It has different stuff. Is one of the stuff we use for data visualization to create a dashboard in Microsoft Excel. Okay, now let's say we are bringing in prices and we select customer by country, which is just 2 rows like this. Let's say we select this and then we move. Now it says first row, yes, that's what we want, and then we finish. Now you see the difference. When you look at this, you will see the difference between this table and this one that we imported. This shows you a certain arrow that shows is a link, is something that we got from another table, is being linked. USA is 90. Now let me see if I can okay, let me go to that data source. Where is it? Okay, this is it. Let me open it in Microsoft Excel. Let me open it in Microsoft Excel. What I really want to do is to show us that from here, once I make some editing, that it will allow me to, it will reflect in that place. And this is a data from okay, let me say 100. Yeah, that's a pivot table that is from a source. Okay, now but what I want to show us here is that if peradventure we change something, from the source table for this one, it will reflect here. But this one doesn't have any link at all. This doesn't have any link at the import. Then let's look at export. How we can export. We can export to another Access database. Excel, we can export to PDF and other stuff. But for this course now, we have to choose to export to. Okay, let me use the one we have here to export to Excel, so that this is what we have. Excel workbook. then export data with formatting layout. If I want the same layout to be there, I select this and then I say okay. That is done. That is done. It doesn't have much work, so we say close. We have done the exports. We have done that. If we come to I forgot the directory to which we exported it to. Okay, so if I double click on it, it will open. That is what we have here. That is what we have here in our Microsoft Excel. So this is for importing and exporting. This is for importing and exporting. Now let's quickly go over to query. Let's quickly go over to query. Query is an aspect where we use, in other words, to retrieve information from the table. We are asking the database, we are asking the table for questions, we need feedback, we need to get information from our table. Let's say as we have this table here, called this table, and this table is so long that you have 9,994 rows or records. Is so long, you have 9,909 records, and you want to get some informations. You want to get some informations from here. So you imagine when you will try to be searching, and you want to know what happens in a city of Los Angeles. You want to know how many persons buys from the city of Los Angeles or from the state of California or Washington. It will take you so much time in order to discover that. So from that, in a data where we have a large volume of data, a query makes it easy for us to select certain informations. Now, in query, under queries, we have query wizard and you have query design. Now, let's go first through query wizard. Let's go first through query wizard and see what we can do. Then we click on query wizard, talk about simple query, and you say okay. Now query wizard is kind of limited in a way. So if peradventure I want to see what is happening, I want to see the order date, I will click and drag here. I want to see the customer name, I will click and drag here. I want to see the country, I will click and drag here. Then let's say I want to see the sales, and then I want to see the profits only. Let's say these are the 3 things, these are the 5 things I want to see. These are the things I want to see. Then I move to next. Then okay, I will move to next. I can call it sample superstore query. Let's say I call it query 1, and then I say finish. So it will bring me those 5 things I listed. But in this query wizard, what if in this place now, what I want to see is let's say what I want to see is for a particular customer. For a particular customer in our database, I want to see what a particular customer in our database, how he is faring, or I want to see a sales in a particular city or state. That's where we make use of the query design. We click on query design, it brings us to this place, this view. So when we come here, I can now double click. You look at this table panel, add table, you can click on it and use this add selected table, or you double click on it. So what I use mostly is to double click. The table will enter this place. Now follow me carefully. Follow me carefully, please. Now let's say I want the order date. Let's say I want the order ID. I double click. Then I want the order date. I double click. I want the customer name. I double click. Now I want to see the quantity, and then the profit. Let's say this, I want to see these things. However, these ones I want to see all these things based on a particular state. Based on a particular state. Now you look at this, these are the table, they are all from Sample Superstore table. If I want to sort them, I will sort them either ascending or descending. These ones are to show. Then the criteria, this is where I'm now going to focus. The criteria, what criteria I want to put it based on a particular state. I want to show it based on a particular state. Let's say New York. I think, yes, New York is a state. Now I must get the spelling correct. If the spelling is not correct, what I'm doing will be an error. Now look at this. I said what I'm telling the database is that I need these informations, but all these informations will be only from a state called New York. That's what I'm doing. That's what that criteria is. That I need them for this information only from a state called New York. So if I run this, you will see that the data that I'm now having access to is a data from the state called New York. When you look at it, is down here only New York. Only. So it doesn't have a data from any other state apart from New York. So that's why using that we can come here again and go to datasheet view. That's why I'm in datasheet already. I'm going to datasheet view. Go to design view. That's why we have this. Now another thing you can do, those of us that have a bit of SQL experience, you might not have, you can see the SQL code here. When you right click, you see the SQL code, the query language, the structured query language for the query we just ran. And that's why Access is very good. You don't write code, you don't have to write all this code. It's already embedded. You just need to impute the actions. So you can see the select statement. No need to be going over that. Maybe if we can go into SQL, then we can begin to understand what those is. Those statements, the select statement, the where clause, and the likes. So we can still come to our design view. But for you to see the code that brings about this execution, that is where you can see it. Now, that's the things about running queries. And another thing another thing that we can also understand in this is that under this query design, you can do a lot of things. You can do a a logic function. Logic functions are the and or function. You can use the logic function. For example, you can say, okay, give me data from New York and customer name, so name. Let me get a name of a customer before going over to that. Let me run this. I think I have customer name here already. So let me use a customer name that will be easy for Mark Parker. Okay, Mark Parker. All right, Mark Parker. I can remember the name with his footballer Scott Parker. So with that, you can say, okay, let's go to design view, Mark Parker. So we can come here, the criteria that we are telling access, give me information that contains Mark Parker, and from New York. I guess we understand that. Mark Parker and from New York. So remember that in the AND statement, both statements must be true for us to get the true result. Statement in the AND function, both statements must be true for us to get a true result. That's why there was that's the challenge that was, or the what do we call it, or the tussle, the argument that within the election that says and FCT, 3/4 of the state and FCT. In other words, that statement and this statement must be true for that to be true. So that was what the argument was, because of the logic statement. When and is there, both statements must be true for a true result to happen. So when we put these two criteria, we are putting AND function. If you want to extend another criteria for AND, you put it here. Am I communicating? Get that very clear, please. You put it here. That means you are running 3 statements, and those 3 statements is under the AND function. So let's check that once we enter that in this place, Mark Parker, and we run. Okay, now you see here what happened here, because maybe the name that I wrote is not correct. That's why I'm not having the correct result. That's why I'm not having the correct result. Maybe the Mark Parker here is not correct. Let me delete it and rerun. Let me delete it and rerun to see why. Okay, you see that I put R here instead of C. I use R instead of C, and that makes the stuff not to show any result, because it cannot find a customer name that is Mark Parker with R alphabet in it. It has run through the system. It doesn't see any customer that has Mark Parker. That's why it must be 100% accurate. It's not guesswork. It must have 100% result accuracy before it brings out a result. So let's go back and redo that. Let's go back and redo that so as to get our result. We have Mark Parker. Okay, box. That's the query design. We can put. Okay, we can use different criteria. Now I can come here and say under this sort, I can say the descending order. I can sort it by name. I can sort by product. I can sort by any stuff. So if I now put descending order, you see, okay, he is just Mark Parker. I don't need that from there. I will just automatically by default it will be by default it will be the same stuff. Okay, let me move this here. Now watch here. Let me take Mark Packer. Let me remove Mark Packer from there. And now place it here. That is OR statement. It's no longer AND, it's OR. So one of them must be true for it to return true. So if I put Mark Packer there, and then what is saying that access run a query for me. If you see any of these that have New York or have Mark Packer, bring it. So with that, I can now say, okay, even at that, sort it by as descending order. I can sort by descending order. These are certain things we will have to know, and then I run. Now you see it is from descending order, which is from Z, which is Zucrus Caro. And this doesn't bear a name Mark Packer, but the person resides in New York. So that's why the query brings them out. This Victoria, but he resides in New York. Then if we go down, we check if there is anywhere that doesn't have New York. Okay, all of them is under New York. So in Paraventure there is another Mark Packer, but it's not in New York, in another state. It will still bring it out because it's the OR statement. Because it's the OR statement. And these are different stuff you can use to run your query. You can use your query to create a new. You can also in your query you create. You can use it to create a new stuff. Let me put it that way. You can use it to create yes, you can use it to create a new field, add new field to your table, and what have you. So it is the aspect to which I recommend that when you want to run your query, I recommend that you run your query via query design, not really query wizard, because it gives you certain privileges. It gives you certain privileges as regards to running queries, as regards to getting your informations. It gives you those privileges. And that is 9 o'clock. I always want this class to be an hour class. So this is where we wrap it up. Now, having created your database, having inserted data into your tables, this is how you can easily search for information, get data, get the queries, run queries on the informations you want, and then get it quickly as possible. And that is where we will be wrapping it up on this section, day 3 of database management using Microsoft Access. I want to thank you for being available.